Today, we're diving into the incredible story of Rabbi Obadia of Bertinoro. We're talking about a man whose vision and, frankly, sheer grit managed to revive one of the world's most ancient communities, pretty much all by himself. Just so you know, this explainer is a publication from our friends at the soysephardi.org portal. I mean, really think about that question for a second. How can just one person pull a whole city back from the edge of total ruin? It sounds impossible, right? Well, the story of Rabbi Obadia is this powerful, real-life lesson in how leadership and faith can turn around even the most hopeless situations. All right, so let's set the scene. Our story starts back in 15th century Italy. We meet this highly respected scholar, Rabbi Obadia ben Abraham. He's the rabbi in his hometown of Bertinoro, living a comfortable life. But ever since he was young, he's felt this deep, undeniable pull to one specific place on earth, the holy city of Jerusalem. Now, you'll often hear him called the Bartenura. It's a nickname that comes straight from his hometown, Bertinoro. And that name became legendary, synonymous with his commentary on the Mishnah, a work so brilliant and easy to understand that it was the standard text for hundreds of years. So, fueled by this dream, Rabbi Obadia packs his bags and sets off on this epic, multi-year journey. His reputation as this great scholar traveled ahead of him, and along the way, communities in places like Sicily and Cairo offered him these really prestigious jobs. But he said no. He turned them all down because his eyes were on the prize, Jerusalem. And what a journey it was. It took him nearly 2 years. He leaves Italy in late 1486, spends months preaching in cities like Palermo, travels all the way through Egypt, and finally, just before Passover in 1488, he arrives. Can you imagine the feeling? After all that time, he's finally there. But the reality he found, it was a total shock. You see, he didn't walk into a thriving, bustling spiritual center. He walked into a city deep in crisis. The Jewish community of Jerusalem was on the verge of completely disappearing, crushed by an unimaginable poverty and brutal taxes from the local government. And the scale of this crisis was just staggering. Get this, there were only 70 Jewish families left. That's it. Anyone with any money had already fled the insane taxes, leaving behind this tiny, destitute community that was barely hanging on. His own words from letters he sent back home, they paint the clearest picture. He wrote about many widows and many abandoned old men, and a level of poverty so bad that if you had enough bread to last a whole week, you were considered rich. The city he dreamed of was just a place of deep, deep suffering. And he wasn't just some scholar observing this from an ivory tower. No way. The community was so broken, so demoralized, that basic duties were being ignored. So Rabbi Obadia himself, with his own hands, took on the task of digging graves and burying the dead, because there was no one else to do it. That just shows you the kind of leader he was. And this, right here, is the turning point. This is where the scholar becomes a savior. Faced with absolute despair, Rabbi Obadia didn't run. He rolled up his sleeves and started the monumental task of rebuilding this community from scratch. He took these incredibly practical, decisive steps. He immediately used his network back in Italy to raise money. He set up charities and medical aid programs. He even went and negotiated with the local rulers and managed to get a crippling annual tax completely abolished. And then, when refugees started pouring in after the expulsion from Spain in 1492, he was right there to lead them and support them. The change was, it was transformative. He took a community of 70 poor families and put it on a path to becoming this vibrant center of life. He replaced that crushing tax with a fair one, and he replaced total despair with organized help and, most importantly, with a real sense of hope. But here's the thing. His work wasn't just about putting out fires and dealing with the immediate crisis. No, he was building something that was meant to last for generations. He was building a legacy. And that legacy was built in both stone and spirit. With help from the newly arrived Sephardic community, he founded the first Yeshivah, a rabbinic academy in Jerusalem, in over 12 centuries. He finished his world-famous commentary, and he earned the title Rabbi hayshub, which means the patron of the city. When he passed away in 1515, he left behind a Jerusalem that was reborn. And that really brings us to our final thought. The Bartenura's story isn't just history, it's a masterclass in leadership. It really makes you wonder, what does it take?
What's that magic combination of vision, personal sacrifice, and just plain common sense to not only save a community, but to set it up to thrive for centuries to come?
The primary source cited in the soysephardi.org publication for this explainer was halacha.org. And as a reminder, this has been a publication of the soysephardi.org portal. Hey, if you want to dig deeper into this yourself or just verify the history, some really great resources are out there at the Jewish Virtual Library and Encyclopedia Britannica. Just look up his name. And finally, if you found this story as inspiring as we did, please do us a favor and subscribe to the soysephardi.org YouTube channel for more explainers just like this one. And hey, share this incredible story on your social media. Thanks so much for listening.